Good morning, and thank you so much for joining me for Modern Living with Dr. Angela. I am your host, Dr. Angela Jester. Today we are talking about hummingbirds, pennies, and hope. That's right. Well, Jeanne Skinner is my guest today, and let me tell you, Jeanne has discovered angels while going through a divorce and attended a week-long workshop with Doreen Virtue, who has written so many books. She is definitely an expert on the subject. Now, if you are interested in learning more about hummingbirds, pennies, and hope, and they definitely have a meaning, then let me tell you, you're going to be in for a treat. So get comfortable. We are about to get started. Good morning, Jeanne. Thank you so much for being on the line with me today.
Well, thank you.
I apologize about the raspy voice, so I'm going to try to talk very little today. So I want to ask just a few questions of you. And the first is, did you ever think that you were going to be an author, like your teenage self or so? Did you think, I want to be an author, or did you find that you simply had to share your story?
No, I never, ever thought I would be an author. I always loved to read, and as I'm reading, I would create other thoughts from what I read, like continuing the story. But no, I never thought I would be an author, ever. I think it came about when, as a teacher, teaching 8th grade language arts and assigning endless papers, of course, because that's what you do. If you want kids to learn to write, you assign writing assignments. So as reading and correcting and talking with them, I think it just came about. I thought, well, I've got a story to tell. And so I think that's really the answer. It just kind of evolved.
Right. And, it's really interesting because so many people have said the same thing, that it wasn't something that you necessarily set out to do, but yet when you did it, you knew that it was the correct time to do it. Now, I have to ask you, hummingbirds, pennies, and hope, why are those particular things important?
Well, when I first read Doreen Virtue's book, she talked about receiving signs from your angels. And I'm an avid gardener. I have many, many flowers, but I never got any hummingbirds, and I couldn't figure it out. So I prayed and I asked for a sign to know that my angels were indeed with me. So I prayed and asked to see a hummingbird. And it didn't come the next day, and that's one thing people think, I'm going to pray and I expect to see the sign and, immediately. And it doesn't work that way. Sometimes, but not always. But it took, I think, like 48 hours. And I remember sitting on my patio and looking out over one of my flower beds, and lo and behold, there was a hummingbird. And from then on, when I would need a sign, I would pray to find a penny. I'd find or see a hummingbird. So I knew they were with me.
Beautiful story. I love that. One of the things that I've noticed is that when I have a loved one that's on my heart in particular, I have a tendency to see butterflies and feathers. And it just tickles me because I know that that's the sign for me, and it is such a beautiful thing to be able to understand what's being shared or what's being told to us in those moments. I love that. Now, you had an opportunity to spend a week-long workshop with Doreen Virtue. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? How has it changed you? How did it allow you to evolve into the person that you are now?
Well, it really was a life-changing experience. I convinced my daughter to go with me because I didn't want to go by myself. And it was a week in Florida, and I assumed, which I was wrong, but I assumed everybody would be just regular people like me who knew very little about this and were there to learn. Well, I found out that there were a lot of, let's say, people in the business. There were professional mediums there. There were people who had written books. So there were other people like me that were newbies. But it was just mind-boggling, the things that I learned, not only from Doreen, but from the other people who were there. I thought I could do nothing, but I was wrong. Doreen led you through all sorts of things so you could receive messages from your angels. You could receive messages from other people's angels, from deceased loved ones. And it was mostly, I think one thing most profound was I believed. I believed I could do it. And that would be my message to anybody. Because I thought, I'm just an ordinary teacher, nothing special about me. And then yet I realized I can do this. I do have this gift. We all have this gift. So if I can do it, other people can do it too. It was life-changing.
I love how you say that if I can do it, you can do it too. I think so many times people believe that they're not capable or they're not able of life change or life transition to a better version of themselves. So thank you so much for that reminder. I absolutely love that. Now, I want to make sure that just in case someone is perhaps they came into the show a little bit later or they're not listening with their laptop in front of them, can you tell us where can you pick up a copy of your book?
You can get it on Amazon.com. You can go to Balboa, and that's who published the book. So those are the two places.
Now, when it comes to your writing and being able to share the best way possible for you, for the person who may be an aspiring author, if you can, please, can you share with them what is your process? Like, do you need to have complete quiet? Are you the type of person that would rather write like first thing in the morning, or is it whenever you get the chance? What's your process?
Well, let's see. Usually, it's a hard question because I write at all different times during the day. It's kind of like, I would say morning is best, but yet I find myself writing late at night sometimes too. It's like you get a kernel of an idea, and I have to work with it. It just has to evolve. I might have to just go outside for a while and let my mind settle, and then it kind of grows. It's like a seed. It grows. So it's like once I go, okay, now I can put it into words, that's when I go. But I would, the morning, I'm a morning person. The morning I'm fresh and bursting with energy. But if the seed of the idea hasn't really grown, I can't do anything with it. I have to give it time. I have to be patient. And that's not my strength. When we talk about angel cards, I frequently would get the card patience. You need to be patient. So I would say that's it. Also, it's amazing where somebody gets their ideas. It could be something I've read, something somebody said, something that you might see on TV, just a kernel of an idea.
You mentioned the being patient. I think that most people could probably work on being patient. We've gotten so used to, I heard someone call it a microwave society, and I think I understand what they mean, that we get everything kind of lickety-split fast, or we expect for things to be done so quickly that we've forgotten how to not only be patient with ourselves, but to especially be patient with others, and to be able to go from point A to point B, that it does take time, and especially when you're being creative. I can understand that. Now, one last question for you before you go, and that is, what is maybe one main takeaway that you would like for a reader of your book, Hummingbirds, Pennies, and Hope? Is there a particular takeaway that you would like for the reader to have by the time they finish, or is there a message that you hope they can pick up along the way as they read?
Well, all of the stories, the characters in Hummingbirds, Pennies, and Hope are fictitious, but all the stories are real. So I would hope that people would take away that their own experiences are real. People tend to second-guess themselves. I had a friend who lost her mother not too long ago, and she was saying that she thought her mother had been there, but maybe she was wrong. Maybe she just hoped it. And, of course, the answer is absolutely your mom paid you a visit. There's really no such thing as a death. You leave this body, but your spirit goes on. And, of course, your mom's spirit paid you a visit. So I guess I would just want them to think of their own stories, their own experiences, and have faith that they were real, that they really did happen, that, God didn't put us here alone. I firmly believe that. He gave us angels, and our deceased loved ones are still watching over us and walking, with us.
I love it. I love it. Jeanne Skinner, thank you again for being a guest on the show with me today. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Listeners, I hope that you will definitely pick up a copy of her book, Hummingbirds, Pennies, and Hope. And, of course, you can pick up a copy on Amazon and where books are sold. Now, you guys know I'd like to always give right out to the countries listening. So thank you so much to my top 5 in the U.S., Philippines, Australia, the U.K., and Canada. Alrighty, you guys, know that you are blessed. And until next time, that you have great mental health and a good luck to you soon.